The first ever NBA game I watched from start to finish was on November 5th, 2012, where I watched the Pacers get absolutely destroyed by the Spurs, 79-101, but something about Paul George made me start liking the Indiana Pacers. Now, I was 6, and I had just been introduced to basketball. I had watched a little bit of the 2012 finals between the Heat and the Thunder. However, this was my first ever official game I ever watched. My dad would also get me a 2004 Ron Artest number 91 jersey that I still have to this day. Paul George would only go about 5 for 13 from the field for that night, but those 5 shots made me believe that I could do what he did. Well, spoiler alert, I couldn't, and since I hadn't shot a basketball a day in my life, my first ever shot was an air ball. However, I made my second one, but that's not the point. Today we're going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers and why I like them so much and the season that I became a fan. Now, though I became a fan in the 2012-13 season, it wouldn't be until the 2013-14 season that I started following the NBA a lot more heavily. Our lineup for the 2013-14 season was Lance Stephenson, Paul George, David West, George Hill, and Roy Hibbert. We would start the season 9-0 before we would lose to the Chicago Bulls by 16 points, 94-110. Did I just say 110? 94-110, but eventually we would go on another win streak, winning another 7 games and being 16-1, where we would fall to Portland 102-106 on December 2nd, 2013. Now, I guess we decided we were too good because in our last 22 games, we would go 10-12, but that's okay because we would finish the year 56-26. After a very back-and-forth first round against the Atlanta Hawks, we would clutch out in the last 2 games and would finish the series 4-3. In round 2, we would go face John Wall, Bradley Beal, and the Washington Wizards. We would drop game 1, 102-96, and then we would go on a 3-game win streak. Now, we embarrassed them in game 3, 85-63, so they decided they were going to embarrass us in game 5 and drop us 102-79. That's fine because we would blow them out by 13 in the last game of the series and take the series 4-2. The Pacers would go and take on their toughest task yet in the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. After winning the first game 107-96, the Pacers would drop the next 3 games. They would win game 5 93-90, however they would be beaten 117-92 in game 6 after a combined 50 points by Chris Bosh and LeBron James. But the Miami Heat would not have the last laugh as they would be beaten in the 2014 NBA Finals by the San Antonio Spurs, and you know what happened after that. Paul George would end the season averaging 21.7 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game. In 2014, Paul George would be on the All-Defensive First Team and All-NBA Third Team. There was a few really cool moments this season. Obviously, the 9-0 start and having a 36-5 home record. There was a time in which Paul George hit 7 3-pointers, making us think he's Reggie Miller and having 43 points. Lance Stephenson would record his first career triple-double on November 11th against the Grizzlies when he would put up 13 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. And honestly, out of all the Pacers squads I have watched through the years, this is by far my favorite. And that'll do it for today's video. If you guys liked it, like, subscribe, comment, share. If you guys disagreed, tell me why in the comments. And well, I guess I'll see you later.